formal comment. You probably
Oh.
saw 30 Half Moon Lane has now sold. The house next to the 10 and 20.
We're live.
So I will call today's Architectural Review Board meeting to order. Good evening, everybody. So I guess we're starting with, I don't have the agenda, but 44 Riverview Road, ARB 2025-65.
If you're here to represent the application, if you can please hit the raise hand button, thank you. The home household. Go through the company.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Oh, hi, how are you?
good.
Hi, I'm here to apply for the application for the 64 feet of fence, 44 on one side of the property and 20 feet on the other side of the property. It's going to be a 6-foot cedar fence.
State your name and I guess you're the owner. You got to state.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Hi, my name is. Sorry. Yeah. Hi, my name is Theodore Langer. We moved in August, and I'm the new owner along with my wife and 2 children. It's nice to meet everyone.
All right, welcome. Can you share your screen and show us?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Give me. Okay. Here we go. So can you guys see that? All right.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, and I have pictures too. So there's currently 44 feet of 3-foot wood fence on this side of the property, and there's 20 feet on that side of the property. So obviously, you're just filing an application to put up a different fence. So can you guys see that?
Yes.
Great. So this is the longer side of the property. That faces, I guess, west where the Latoffs are. And this is the current fence. Obviously, it's in a state of disrepair. When we moved here, the gate is broken and a lot of the pickets are obviously off. And again, the purpose here is, like I stated before, I have 2 small children. So safety is paramount, and making sure they're not running out into the street is really the purpose here. And obviously, it's to refurbish and just bring it, up to today's standards in terms of safety. And then the other side of the property is the 20 feet is on the other side of the house, which would be the east side. And that's, again, there's a big drop off right at the other side of that fence. And obviously, as you guys can see here, it's broken and cracking. So again, just to, for safety reasons, to obviously get rid of the fence that's no longer functioning as a fence, and upgrade it to more of a durable fence. In terms of the and you guys stop me, by the way, if you have what you need. In terms of the folks who are doing the work, it's King Fence, and you should have their COIs and all their insurance information. I'm pretty confident they do this type of work in Irvington as well as in the major river towns. So you guys should have their COI as well as all their permits and whatnot. And yeah, that's about it. So if there's
Is it just the 2 sides there, or
no. Yeah, yes, sir. It's just the east side and the west side. That's all we're doing. We're not touching any of the fence. As you can see, a little bit smaller in these images, there's a aluminum or mesh fence that goes on the back of the perimeter of the property, which we're not touching because that's in good condition. It's just the fence that is obviously in a state of disrepair.
Okay, and then what are the materials and the height of
Yeah, absolutely. So I have that here. This thing's in the way here. Oh, fence specs. Here we go. Thank you. So the fence specs are, again, it's going to be 6-foot white. It's cedar color. So it's actually not a color. It's just cedar fence, and it's going to be the standard just flat top fence, if you will.
Okay. And a couple of gates.
And one, yes, sir. There'll be similar to how it is structured here. There'll be one gate approximately 5 feet across to allow for lawnmowers to, get down there and do what they do.
Okay. I have no further questions. Anybody else?
No?
All right. I move to approve the application as stated in the documentation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. And I guess in terms of next steps, I'm sure there'll be some emails on permits and all that good stuff.
I think you call the building department tomorrow. Call the building department tomorrow.
Oh, got it. Call the building department tomorrow. Well, thank you very much for your time. It was very nice meeting everyone, and hope everyone has happy holidays and a happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, next up is 30 Main Street, ARB 2025-66.
Hi, good evening. Timothy Sullivan here. I'm one of the homeowners at 30 Main Street. And we are applying for approval for 6 windows to be replaced at our home. I'll share my screen. And so we live in the historic district on, like I said, 30 Main Street. We're at the corner of Main and Cottonette. And so, as you might be able to tell, our home itself is not historic. It was built in 1980, but we are on Main Street. And so we're applying to have 6 of our windows replaced. And the replacement will be in the same size and same style as the existing windows. It's going to be the 2 second-story windows on this view here, which is the view from Main Street itself. And then,
Can you share your screen?
oh, is it not being shared? I'm sorry. I missed a step there.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. So as I was saying, the 2 second-story windows here, and then on the side of the house, all 3 of these windows here. So 2 second-story and one first-story window, and then this is the back view from Cottonette Street and this window here. So 6 windows in total, and again, just in keeping with the current size and style, sort of colonial style grills on the windows. And the windows are in current state are sort of in disrepair and broken and drafty and leaking and need to be replaced, I think. And so we've chosen Andersen 400 series windows in the same style.
Okay. So the originals were Andersen 400s?
I'm not, so one of the windows is not original, actually. You can see here, this one looks a little bit different. This is like a vinyl replacement window from before we purchased the home. And I'm not actually sure. I mean, the windows they're original, I assume from 1980 when the house was built, the other
Okay.
one.
All right, so I have no questions on this. No questions. So with no more comments, I move to approve the application as stated in the documentation. Is there a second? All in favor? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
All right, moving quickly through this. ARB 2025-67, 11 Grinnell Street.
There's somebody, Pepe Blanco, that raised their hand. If you can make your presentation.
Oh, you're on mute.
Is that better? Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Gotcha.
Sorry about that. My name is Pepe Blanco. I'm from Plitnick Plumbing and Heating. We're discussing 11 Grinnell Street. We're going to be installing ductless heating and air conditioning systems at the home and eliminating the oil heat system.
Okay. Can you show us the survey and where it's going?
I believe that I can't show it to you because I believe that was handed in, that was submitted by by our office, our expediters.
All right. Can you bring it up?
The condensing units themselves are going to be on the right side of the house as you're looking at the front of the house. And I apologize for not being better prepared, but I wasn't informed until 5 o'clock that I was actually going to be part of this meeting.
How big is the footprint on this thing?
There's 2 of them, and the footprint is each one is probably 30 inches wide by 12 inches deep and about 32 inches high. They'll be mounted actually up against on the outside wall of the house.
Can these be seen from the street?
They'll be very difficult to see from the street, to be honest with you. It's they have coverage in the front of the house, some trees, that sort of thing. So they're I mean, they wouldn't be visible, but it'd be very difficult. And they are going to be towards the rear of the house.
Okay, we're looking at the, can you see it? The
Yes.
survey? Yeah.
So you see the condensers there on the right side.
In this alleyway, is it used for accessing the backyard or?
There's an alleyway. It's an alleyway. There's really, as far as access, I don't know how much access you can really get back in there. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's about 42 inches wide.
So that'll be minus 12 with this.
Right.
30 inches.
We are planning to mount these units high up enough off the ground so we could actually walk underneath it in order to access and not impede anybody walking back and forth if they have to do any gardening or maintenance on the foundation or anything along those lines.
Okay. And then there's a building right next door.
Yes.
Okay.
These things are amazingly quiet, so they, as far as noise is concerned, there won't be an issue. I don't have the exact dB rating on these things, but you really have to almost stand next to them to even hear them running. What really you hear is a minor amount of air noise from the fan when it's operational.
Okay. So there's no windows that they're mounted next to.
No.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Anybody else? All right. With no other questions, I move to approve the application as stated in the documentation. Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening and a nice holiday season.
All right. 9 North Cottonette Street, ARB 2025-68.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So for the record, state your name and what your relationship is to the applicant.
Sure. I'm with Rivertown Solar, and we're applying on behalf of the applicant to install solar panels on 9 North Cottonette Street.
Okay. Can you share your screen?
Oh yeah. Okay, oh, no, that's not it. Sorry. There we go. So we actually put solar on 11 North Cottonette right next door, and now we're putting them here on the southern roof plane. Pretty much invisible from the street, given the height of the house. It's 3 stories, and the tree coverage that's on the east side of the house. So it's right here. I mean, you really can't see it. It's up there.
Okay, and you're above the house next to it.
Yeah, we're above that house, correct? Yeah, and
Okay.
it's up here, and we've already installed solar. Back in 2022, we installed on this house.
Okay. And we can't see that either.
Nope, exactly. You just see, well, it's not even here on the Google Maps, but there's like some conduit runs and all that. So yeah, it's very straightforward. Solar installation, probably about 4 inches from the shingles. Standard attachment product that we use for all of our shingles, which is Iron Ridge Hugs. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Yeah, we're here just to approve the layout,
Oh, okay.
how it looks on the historic building.
Sure.
I really don't have any questions on this. It's not viewable from the streets, and it's fairly symmetric. It's good to me. Any other questions? Okay, if there's no further comments, I move to approve the application as stated in the documentation. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, 555 Broadway, ARB 2025-69.
Evening. Chris Tremitola with Alloy Design Studio.
Hi.
Good evening. I'm Tom Simmons with Mercer University.
Hi. All right, welcome. So we're here to review the look and materials on the outside of the building. So I know this is a big application, so try to concentrate on that.
And let me know if you guys see the presentation.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Sounds good. So I'll run through a bit of the scope of the project at a high level, and then we'll concentrate on the materials of the exterior envelope and a couple pieces of the site. As you're seeing here, the application is for a field house on the western portion of the Irvington side of Mercy University's campus. Make sure my arrows work here. So Verrazano Hall, located on the Irvington side of campus, between Verrazano Hall and the Hudson River, which would be to the west. There are currently 2 large vehicular parking lots with various pedestrian paths that come to the site and vehicular pathways. The building is being proposed to be located within those 2 parking lots. Here, as the proposed plan, the new building in blue here, with a reconfiguration of the full surrounding site with a exterior plaza to the west and an open amphitheater to the east, new parking, and in conjunction with reducing the parking on this portion of campus, a new parking lot is being installed where there are 3 existing tennis courts, a new vehicular pathway through the campus, along with pedestrian pathways through the campus, extending out the newly planted over the last few years, constructed meadow landscape that rides along Hudson Road West on this portion of campus, now extends all the way down to in front of Verrazano Hall, and will buffer the planting area and active landscape there. And a new gate at the moment, there's a chain and a sawhorse that sits on this existing curb cut up at Hudson Road West. That would be replaced with a manual double leaf gate that matches elsewhere on campus that I'll show a picture of in a second. And throughout the site, both at this and down at the building, there would be new lighting. The lighting, bollards, and area luminaires both match the existing previously approved fixtures that I will also show some photos of. For the building, it is a pre-engineered structure with insulated metal panels made to look like a stucco material with veneer brick pilasters and a base with a cast stone water table. Throughout that, we have storefront with a series of bent metal fascia and overhangs for awning purposes. In the back and in the front, there would be a series of bifold vertical doors that provide access throughout the campus for student life. And for a section here, you can see the existing site here and the tremendous slope from the river, the train tracks, the heavily wooded slope here, the new proposed building, the amphitheater, the great lawn that is in the back of Verrazano Hall, and the parking that would be up to the east of that. The layout, just as a brief overview, is a vast majority of the space is dedicated to sports, as it is proposed to be a field house, with some amenity spaces for ADA access, locker rooms, storage, and the like. It has a mezzanine level above with mechanical spaces and an overlook room and a perimeter walking track. And we did a series of images from inside the campus to see how this would volumetric studies to show how this would sit into campus with a series of helium-filled balloons to the proper heights. And we also looked when we had those balloons out from other portions of campus where you could not see the balloons at all. This is from the meadow that would be now part of that meandering trail. The white line on the side here shows how much further the parking lot is going to be compared to the existing tennis courts. And as you can see, it's about 8 feet of difference. It's not a tremendous difference there in terms of bringing the built environment into the natural landscape. And here is the sawhorse, which would be replaced by the double leaf, far more attractive gate here with pedestrian access as well. And this was the only spot along Hudson Road West that I was able to glimpse a balloon, which I will zoom in here. And there is one of the balloons. So that's the top of the building. As you can see, the tremendous grade change here on site prevents really any view of the building from any public right of way. And then to showcase some renderings of the space, we have the building here. You're running through from the Dobbs Ferry portion of campus into the front entrance of the building to the lobby. Here's from walking along the circular amphitheater coming to the main entrance as well. From the parking lot, and an old, slightly different style of rendering, but shows from the central amphitheater open space looking back towards the building and inside to the main athletic spaces. For reference pictures for precedence, The bollards you can see are already on campus. It's these small black pathfinder lights. They function very well throughout the campus. You can see them here again. Same with the benches being proposed. The awning of the building that would be coming out from that main entrance and cantilevering, it is supported by a post, but coming out in front of that entrance and wrapping the building would have a slatted ceiling. And if anyone has been to the Mercy campus site, we have worked lighting into the slatted ceiling of the bus stop here. So between these wood slats, it has a calm, peaceful glow at night. So we would be incorporating a lot of those same details into the awning spaces of the building. And the area luminaires here, as you can see, it has a swing arm that comes out over the vehicular and sidewalk. We are planning to use the same fixtures throughout the parking area in this scope. A few images of the meadow landscapes with the tall grasses and the mowed grass here that would then be extending down to the left. So these stabilized gravel pathways would then continue along, almost doubling their total length, which has been tremendously used since these were installed a few years ago. Here's a picture of the existing gate that's at the Dobbs Ferry side that we are replicating at the Hudson Road West entrance as well. It was requested that the gate here on the Dobbs Ferry side has a fob for the fire department to use for emergencies. So this one is automated. We have been informed for Irvington, they prefer a manual gate. We are happy to use whichever is the preference of the Irvington's fire department. And in terms of brick for materials, we had put together a full material board, but since we're not in person, I just have an image of it. This image in particular is just showing the style and color of brick would be matching main hall here, just adjacent to that building. And here's the material board that goes over the brick selection, the stucco metal panel, which would be this color down here, not the main large one. This large one shows the joint between each panel. The storefront would be in a simple anodized aluminum with insulated glass. And our water table would be a slightly darker cast stone with a medium gray fascia brake metal panels. And then the wood soffit material underneath that awning. Happy to answer any questions regarding the exterior envelope and the overall scope of the project.
So you're still in planning board, right? Being reviewed?
Yes.
So are you asking us to do a final approval of this design, assuming nothing's going to change in planning?
So we've received no comments for the design of the building. The remaining items for the planning board at the moment are related to an eagle's nest that is on, I want to say Clifton, but I'm blanking on the street. It's the next one over. And an issue with the sewer capacity in Hudson Road West, having no historical data for the sewer. They want to have that confirmed. That is in progress at the moment, but they have been supportive for the overall design, both site and building, which is why they recommended that we come to ARB.
Okay.
So yes, we are asking for that approval.
Okay. Good. I mean, so if anything changes, you just come back and.
Yes.
Right. I really don't have any questions. You guys have anything? All right, that was a very good presentation.
Thank you.
Everything looks good to us. So is there any public input? All right, so without any further comments, I move to approve the application as stated in the documentation. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Good luck. You guys are trying to do this summer?
Yes,
Good.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Happy holiday.
It's 10 Half Moon, ARB 2025-70.
You're mute, John. No, we can't hear you. We can see you, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna jump off and jump.
Yes, I was like. Now you unmute. Still. No sound.
Sorry, can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah, we got an echo.
Okay, hold on one second. Okay, what about now?
Still echoing.
Turn the volume on your computer down, because it's here, it's us.
Well,
I put him on mute, phone was echoing, so he could figure out which to lower.
We muted the,
Can you guys hear me now?
yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Okay. Great. I'm going to use the phone for the audio, and then I can hopefully use the screen to share. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. John Malone, Ferguson Malone, architecture. Make sure we have it here. And do you guys want to start with 10 Half Moon?
Yes.
So 10 Half Moon was based on sort of a shingle style, colonial style house. So we had some historic examples that we were looking at. Again, just to back all the way up, these two houses are being developed at the same time. And it was important to the owner that they don't read as though they were being developed at the same time. So we developed a strategy where the two houses, even though they're going to be constructed at the same time, have different references historically, locally. So what we were looking at for the northern house was a basically a colonial revival that had some shingle style stuff in it, and that was something that was common in the early or late 19th century, early 20th century, to combine those two styles. And one of the reasons we were looking to do that was to reduce the mass of the house. So if you look at the house that we're actually planning to do, it is the second, in order to keep the overall height and the mass of it low, that the second floor is sort of under the roof. So it's really, from the front, it's really almost like a story and a half where you're occupying the attic space. And from the rear, because the property slopes, you have a walkout basement. So that's what we're trying to do. So the street view here is what you see. The house has a metal roof that's meant to look like lead-coated copper. It'll be a steel roof that's painted, but it's referencing a historic material, lead-coated copper. The siding is a fiber cement siding, but it's, and again, going to be a painted, white painted siding. The windows are fiberglass. They're Marvin Elevate line. They're a mid-range line that has a fiberglass finish on the outside, wood on the inside, painted on the inside. This white is a sort of historic white that will work well. We have some detailing that you can see on the house, brackets and a mid-band and overhangs and round gutters and cornices that reference that period that we're working in. Here's a house where you can see some more of the details, the brackets that are shown here. The gutters are half rounds that are designed to expose the cornice, again, historic details. And then we have shutters on this facade. As we go around the house, you'll see as you go around, this is the focus that you would see from the street side. This is what most people will see. Then as you come around the rear, you see there's a walkout basement here. The house is made up of forms that are meant to read like, potentially connected agricultural forms or a house that was built over time. And then this is the rear that faces the river. Living room is over here, kitchen dining over here. And there's sort of a knuckle in here that has some reference to kind of modern construction, like the buildings were maybe historic and put together at a later time. But that's not visible from the front. So that's where we are on this building. If you guys have any questions, we did submit materials, but in this case, it's really paint and the roof. There's not a lot of specific materials here.
You said it's a metal roof. It's standing seam?
It is standing seam, yeah. It's a standing seam. It's an Addis standing seam. It's called the Colonial. Let me see if I get it right. Here is the where to go. I think it's over here. Sorry. I will get to it eventually. Oh, here it is. It's an Addis standing seam on the Colonial. So you can see here. This is the configuration of it, so it clips together this way, but it does not have a mid plank. it's a flat version of that. Oh, here's the colonial steam, sorry. This is the colonial steam connector. Let's see.
Okay.
And I can go into more detail in the other drawings if you want, or we can move on to the other one, whatever you guys like.
Well, let me see if there's any questions. Is there any questions? Well, why don't you finish the presentation, and you've got some of your friends here that want to talk.
Oh, okay. So so we'll go and do both houses then, if that makes sense.
No,
So
let's stick on this one.
let's stick on this one. Okay, so I think beyond that, that's really what we're proposing to do in terms of materiality. It's a again meant to be a colonial revival with some shingle style details, specifically these brackets, which were help keep the mass down. It is in that sense, it's very classical. One quick thing about it, in terms of the historical reference of it, the windows that you see have divided lights above and open lights below. That would be very typical of like somewhere between 1890 and 1920. Again, so that's the target. I think unless you want to go through the plan, we can go through the plan quickly and sort of show what's inside the house.
So those windows that have the half twos over one, are those operable windows?
They are, yeah, they're always up. The double hungs are all operable, so when you do a Dutch style window like this, they just don't open as high. So the window can only open up to the point of the height of that upper sash. So there are some casement windows that are required for egress in certain areas, like I think on the bedrooms there might be some casements. But in general, it's a double hung house. Oops, sorry, I was going the wrong way.
And what's the material on the driveway?
The driveway, this is an asphalt driveway. Yeah, I know it's shown with like a pattern, like it's cracked something, but it's an asphalt driveway.
Okay. Concrete curbs.
Yes.
And then the fencing is it what we see there? The aluminum fencing.
That's it. It's the aluminum fencing that we typically use in a bronze color.
And that goes down the sides all the way down to the river.
It does. It does. I can show you that here. Go to the site plan. This is the planting plan, which is pretty extensive. The fence is shown here. Where is the? So the fence, it's hard to sort of see because it's such a light line. I can probably sketch on top of it here. Hold on. Okay. The fence meets the house here and then goes around the perimeter of the property like this. It drops down the slope at the train, so it won't block your view as you look out the back because the slope goes down and it returns to the side of the house here. So you'll see the fence lines are planted pretty substantially. So if we clear all that, go to the planting plan. You'll see that both of the fence lines have been planted pretty extensively. So the goal is from the street, you won't be seeing fence. And then the fence between the two houses is planted pretty extensively. Makes sense.
It doesn't show it on this plan. Is it on the other lot or?
It's right on the lot line here. It does show, it's basically this little light line with the X is the fence right on the property line. So again,
the plantings you said between the lots?
Yeah, so this planting between the lots here is really between the occupied parts of the lot, and then there is a fence in the lower section here that is not planted, but right between the houses, it's pretty heavily planted. That makes sense. For this house also, the property line that faces, I don't know if the street is named Clinton, but there's sort of an extension of Clinton that comes along the north edge of the house. This is also planted pretty extensively.
Okay. All right, so I'll ask for anybody who wants to make a comment to come up to the microphone.
just wanted to ask a question.
Come up, say your name and
Anne Hallowell, hi, John, wherever you are. I wanted to just ask what the square footage of the house is. And we're here because we're concerned about our view, which you know our house as well. So what's your thought about how this house and the other house will impact the views on our side of Half Moon Lane?
We do. It was not submitted to this board, but we did do a pretty extensive view impact analysis on the forms of the house. I think in terms of this north house, in terms of view impacts from your house, we didn't believe that there were any view impacts associated with this house. The house to the south was designed very specifically to protect a view along what would be the south side of that house. And you'll see that the configuration and the plan of that house is pretty, it's an L-shaped house, and there's a first floor level that has a flat roof. That was all designed to address a view shed that you had from your front patio. So we did a lot in that case. This case, I don't think the positioning of this house had a huge impact on views from the position in your house. But in general, we tried to keep the mass of it small, and it is approximately 5,000 square feet. The house to the left is 4,500 square feet, and this one is closer to 5.
any more questions?
Yeah. So it's Rick Passoff at 15 Half Moon Lane. John, in the plans you showed to the planning board in 11/2024, the south house was taking away some of my view. And then once you fill out the coverage between the two houses, all of the view is gone. And when the planning board looked at what you presented November of 24, you didn't show the coverage. You actually have what looks like an improvement to the view shed, but when you add the south house, which you do fairly say takes away some of my view, and then the coverage between the two houses, I think it's 100% gone.
Are we talking about, when you say coverage, are you talking about planting?
Yeah, what you just mentioned. So you're showing it somewhat in some of these pictures. In a few of the pictures, if you look at the actual tree plantings, you see what's proposed. But when you showed the view shed last year, and in some of the views you're showing now, there isn't the planting. But when you do see where the trees are going to go, all of the area between the two houses will have 30-foot trees. The south house takes away my view, and the north house takes away.
Well, I think there might be something in the rendering that incorrectly represents trees. We can look at that, but we can also look at the planting plan right now to show what's in between there in more detail. Let me go look at that now.
Yeah, and maybe we just limit it's the planting along, yeah, right, yeah.
So let me see what's actually shown here, because sometimes, things are not accurately represented. So right here, what is this? An NS. There is a black tupelo shown here in this location. That tree, can get relatively large, but it's really it's a 20-foot tree instead of a 20 to 30, rather than a large tree like an oak, which is 60 to 70. But that would have summer view impact. It's deciduous, so it doesn't have winter impact. In terms of the evergreens in the view shed, let me see what these are. TOs. These are American arborvitae with a max height of 15 right through here. So these are relatively low. I believe these are also TOs. So all of these through here, I don't know if they're represented at the wrong height. That's a max height of what they will get to. They're going to be planted at 6 foot to 8 feet, and they could potentially get higher than that. What is down here? They are. This red maple it's going to be planted at 2.5 caliber, but over time it would get to 40 feet in this area. So that could have, but again, at this point, I think you're down from the street, approximately 10 feet down from the street. So, yeah, I'm not sure, all of this, the planting plan hasn't changed from what was presented to the planning board. So this is the same tree planting plan that was approved by the planning board. I think if there's a concern about the placement of these, we can keep them, tighter to the property line here to try to make sure we open a corridor through here. But most of the planting through here is like evergreen screening planting, which is, lower than full height deciduous. The two full height deciduous, there's one here.
That all makes sense. I guess my simple point is just that you have those two rows of trees. There does need to be something between the two homes.
Right.
Right now, and in the prior renderings, there was nothing in that space. Right now, there's nothing there. And in the 1124 presentation of the view shed, the plantings weren't there. Now that you see it with the plantings, even though they're 15 to 30 foot trees, there's
Let me see what's actually shown there. So you see what's thrown, the problem that we have when we do renderings is we don't have accurate plants that are at the right size of all of this. So all of these trees that are shown in here are like 30 feet high. These are inaccurate. These are supposed to be arborvitaes that are the height of the fence. So there's, this is a much lower tree than what's shown here in the rendering. It's going to top out somewhere like here, if you can see where my cursor is.
yeah, no, I understand that, but even if they topped out at 15 feet, you have two rows of trees where there is nothing. Plus,
Right. I think what we're hoping for view impact is that those trees are planted down. The ones at least the lower level, the second row is down lower in the slope because of the way the is graded. The upper one that's associated with this house is kind of at the grade of the pool though. So that's why that material is smaller. This also you see in this rendering, this is supposed to be a tupelo. It's shown as an evergreen. So that evergreen tree is not going to be there. It's a tupelo if you know what that is. I think it's hard to get, pure accuracy on planting when you do renderings just because the available plant material is not always available. We use natives and we use stuff of certain heights and we don't, typically use the renderings for that kind of analysis.
John, Steve Hallowell here. A question for both properties. Will there be fencing that will keep deer out of the property? Is that part of the plan?
That is, it's not really deer fencing. It's a 6-foot fence, so deer could make the leap on it. A lot of what is being planted there are deer-resistant plants. My problem with the deer fencing is kind of what it looks like. I think it's kind of hard to look at it, and especially in a situation here where it's between the two properties and there's a view shed between the two properties, so we're trying to limit the impact to something more reasonable. In our experience, a 6-foot fence, like in a situation like this, if the house had a front yard like this that you could browse on everything in the front yard, this fence would probably protect the rear yard, whatever plantings you have in the rear yard. But there might have to be another strategy to protect plants that are especially vulnerable. I think at the moment, all the plants that we've shown are sort of somewhat deer resistant. In the front, you see a bunch of boxwoods here. The deer will definitely eat these. I think they actually are a kind of hydrangea, or there might be a different native that's not a hydrangea in here, but there are certain things that are at risk.
Yeah, I'm thinking also arborvitaes, we've had terrible luck with them because the deer just demolish them.
Yeah, even that one that we've specified here, which is supposed to be deer resistant, I think, the bottom half they go after, right? Even if it says it's deer resistant. The one that we've been using is like a green giant. It's sort of the best one. But there might have to be, treatment or some kind of additional effort put into it, whether it's the high-pitched noisemakers or it's, coyote urine or something like that. There's probably going to have to be landscaper stuff done here.
We have 3 green giants on our front lawn, and we had to wrap them in deer mesh because they were just demolished by the deer. But I'm thinking that the trees that you specify might be replaced in a couple of years if they've been stripped on their lower half.
Right.
Would you have to come back to the architectural review board to do replacement trees and? No?
You know, John?
I don't believe planting, maintenance planting going forward if something dies here. If, in order to get our C of O for these houses, all this planting would have to be in place and it would have to be approved by the village landscape architect. So she'll put her eyes on stuff and she'll approve that everything's that's shown here is here. And then I think there's typically a limitation that it has to be alive for a year. But beyond that, there's usually not controls on what people plant after the fact.
Any more questions? Anybody on the web?
Nobody's raising their hand to speak and there's no comments in the chat.
Okay. There's no further questions. I move to approve the application as stated. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, next is 2025-71 Half Moon.
So again, John Malone, Ferguson Malone Architecture. I think I mentioned at the beginning of 10 that the goal was to have a language for the two houses, that there was enough contrast between the two houses in terms of their design. So the second house is a modern house. In this, little thing that I've shown here, this was sort of some examples of the kind of language you want to use. It's a very contemporary, like a modern language. But it references gable forms, so historic gable forms, but in an abstract way. These are examples from New York of some stuff upstate. So that's the kind of language we're working with. This is one that's actually made out of steel. We didn't go there, but that's where we started. And, this house was designed, if just quickly to go and plan, there was some view impacts that were considered along, I guess that would be a great way to see this. Let's see. Again, I don't have the view analysis shown here, but I can. Oh my God, I'm sorry. There it is. So if you can see, the footprint of the house here is a sort of an L-shaped footprint. And then also there's a portion of the house here, this back portion, which you'll see in plan as 1 story. So that was designed to protect a view that was from the Hallowell's property that was here. So we looked at other options, potentially putting the house down here, moving the house further up, moving the house over. And this is why the house is a narrower house and is sort of slit in this kind of Z shape that we have here. And then in terms of what it looks like in plan, go quickly. On the ground floor, the living room is in this portion of the Z facing the river. Then it has a kitchen dining room here. Garage. So these lots were actually narrow enough that getting access to the garage was sort of a challenge, and having the garage not face forward and face the front of the street also was kind of a driving force on this. And then you'll see on the second. Oh wait, let's go up to second floor. Second floor, it has a primary wing with a primary bedroom and bath on one side, and then children's bedrooms on the other side. In the basement there, you saw quickly, there's a playroom, and then the potential for a nanny suite or a mother-in-law, father-in-law suite. And some landlocked stuff. So then so what we're looking at, sorry, wrong way. This is the image that we provided for you that shows sort of a dead-on front of the house. It is a vertical siding that is a kind of modern composite siding that's made out of rice hulls. It is more ecologically friendly than alternate wood alternatives and stuff like that. So that's what we're showing there right now. The windows are again Marvin windows, but they're simplified modern windows. And the roof is a metal roof, the gable roof portion of it. As we go around the house, you'll see that's the entry condition. The garage is prominent in the entry, but we tried to make sure at least it wasn't facing the street. And then, that there's an entry, like sort of a hinge that sort of brings you into the entry between these two forms. Again, back to the inspiration, the intent was to have very simple, legible forms that were gable forms that were connected by a connector area. So that's how you get the legibility of the building in terms of what it's formed. This is, as you go down the street again, you can see the garage doors are hidden as you see it that way. This is the view on the riverside. So you'll see that there's a portion here that's 1 story, and the edge of this 2-story portion is pushed back on top of that. And this is all flat roof up here. That's again to move this line back to protect that view that we talked about earlier. And here you can see the basement walkout situation. And this is from the other side again, where you see this is the living room, kitchen, dining room, and then the walkout basement. Cool. So the house is again sits down into the ground a little bit. And again, here you can see that the head height of these windows on the 2nd story is relatively low because you're living in the attic space. These upstairs rooms, portions of them have cathedral, sloped ceilings in them in order to, get them high enough. And in terms of the materiality, we have a blonde stone that's being used as accents here in the back, but also if we go to the front, you'll see it here. And then as a rationale for the 1-story portion here, we have the stone again on this face, and that stone we're hoping to bring into the inside so that it has sort of an intentionality that way. Otherwise, the material on the outside is the metal roof. This is the siding material that we're proposing to use. Again, it's made from rice hulls. It's very consistent. It has a really wood-like finish. It holds its color and doesn't weather the same way. And it's very eco-friendly. Here we had some lighting. People have other questions about that?
Is there a pool in this house?
There is a pool. Yeah, there's pools on both of them. So this pool is here in the lower, related to this playroom level.
Do you guys have any questions? Go ahead.
Hi, John. It's Rick Passoff from 15 Half Moon Lane. I'd like to show the Architectural Review Board what I was referring to. So this is what I looked at last year. And you can see that it's described that the south house will take the view away, but the north house will open up a view quarter that was beyond what was shown in this picture. But when you look at the foliage that's going to be, or the filler between the two homes, this is 100% gone. And so what is written here doesn't quite end up being the case. Because what's written is, it says that the proposed north residence from memory will open an enhanced view corridor. But the fact is, when you look at the foliage that's going to be planted between the two homes, the view corridor is 100% removed.
What would you like them to do?
Well, I'm not an architect. I'm not a landscape
No, but what would,
architect.
in your opinion?
In my opinion, I guess my first
improve
question
view
is,
or
what is, how is the view preservation handled? And what are the requirements that somebody has to meet?
It's
Or
not,
is it all just,
it's not within our scope.
okay, then this is,
Yeah, it's a planning
I mean,
board.
I'm happy for you to talk to John, but
okay, if it's not in the
View-
scope, then I shouldn't.
view preservation's covered at planning.
Okay, then. But it is a contradiction, the difference between what was shown to the planning board and the trees that are being planted here seem to be at odds, and I thought this was the place to bring it up, but I missed it.
You're also looking at a rendering, like you said, so those oaks may not be there.
Well, no, I guess I'm referencing what was presented to the planning
So,
and what is actually going to be the end result of what's built. And the verbiage that was presented. It does say, my view will be open. I thought the trees and everything would be the discussion of this meeting, so it was my confusion.
okay, well, I'll let John comment. John, you want to say anything?
I think, you know, the view preservation, the way the planning board looks with it, I can't speak for them, but you know, things have different categories. Some things are solid, 4 seasons, a building is solid. And I do believe that the trees and the planting plan were taken into account with that view preservation. And I think I'm worried that some of these renderings show the space between the houses being filled with evergreen trees, which is not accurate. And I think the actual effect of deciduous trees, some with, you know, some may have high canopies, would be, uh, you know, would you'd still have views potentially under them when they were mature, when that happens in 20 years. I think, you know, this was addressed, and I know the planting plan was addressed. You know, one of the things we can do is, you know, this planting is kind of out in the future. And I think, you know, the goal of the owner is to, you know, get these houses built, but also not make people unhappy for no reason. So if positions of trees could change, and even potentially species of trees, I'm sure we can talk about that later in the project.
John, I would appreciate it, because I just want to read you what was written in what you submitted to the planning board. It says, the proposed north residence will expand river views relative to the previous development of the property. The mass has been moved to the north, opening a view quarter to the south between the two buildings. And that view quarter is fully taken up by what obviously has to be some coverage between the two homes. Sorry.
Yeah, I think the way you're reading that, I think, well, the mass of the building that was there, it was actually extended pretty far to the south. So when we're saying we're opening up a view corridor, it might actually be more like the space between what was the old house and the proposed house. And I think, again, the impact of the trees will reduce that view corridor. I think if you understood that to be like completely blank, like a desert, and just a view corridor with nothing planted in it, yes, the trees will have some impact on that view corridor. I still think it's better than what was there, because the house that was there was bigger by wider by like 20 feet. So now what was house is going to be a combination of trees, and some of that will be the trunks of trees, and some of that will be lower shrubs or lower, you know, 14-foot trees. I think that's still considered an improvement to the view corridor. But I understand what you're saying. Like, that could be read as it could being entirely open between the two houses, and that's not what's ended up happening here. But I do think if there's like a concern about a specific species, like I know this is showing stuff in the summer with everything leafed out, and you know, I think what we have shown is probably the right thing. But if we want to move it on site before it's planted, we can do that too. And there is some flexibility in terms of where it ends up.
So when you actually do those plantings, is that something that the landscape architect is consulted on? You said there's some.
I think that would be a way, if you wanted to have sort of a direct control, is you could email or indicate to Suzanne Nolan, who's the village landscape architect, that you would hope to talk to her about locations of this, and then Suzanne can come to us and sort of, you know, fine tune where stuff is located when it gets dropped on the site, or change species. And in a situation like this, you know, at that point when we plant stuff at the end of a job, Suzanne also is often involved with placement. We just did something at Halsey Pond where she was involved with all the placement of the mitigating trees, and she also we changed species based on availability, and she has a hand in that. So that would be a potential way to have some, if not involvement, at least some assuredness that someone is considering this and, you know, doing the best they can with what was approved by the planning board.
Okay.
And one last comment, Steve Hallowell again, if I can, to that point. John, we appreciate you looking to protect our view shed. I'm wondering if there is any precedent for putting a stipulation that trees that are approved that are of a certain maximum height and not be then withdrawn and replaced with trees that are significantly different in terms of their total mass or height. We're taking out 15-foot arborvitaes and putting in 70-foot oaks. Is there any history of that?
Not at our board, but I'll let John address it.
Yeah, I don't know of that as part of a limitation on planning board. It's hard to, because of mechanism for enforcement, and stuff like that. I don't think we've had, situations in planning board, like the project I was just talking about, where they put stipulations that the trees that they, required as mitigation have to be alive 2 years out. So that's the longest time limitation I've seen on something, and it's really with the other goal, Steve. It's really about making sure that the trees get big, and there's a lot of plant material. It's usually, I haven't seen it done the other way, but I guess that would be a question to the planning board.
Or I guess that could be sent to Suzanne also,
Right, in terms of
to make her aware that there is an issue or concern with height.
right.
Anybody else? Online, nothing? Okay. I guess I'll move to approve the application as stated. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you, John.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for your input.
All right. That is it. I will move to close the meeting.